I'd like to introduce you to who reviews your resume first, or your CV, anything that you're uploading. Who's going to review that first? And maybe it's less of a who, but more of a what, right? So who reviews your resume first? Well, it's this person here. Or not really a person, this robot, machine, algorithm, whatever it might be, computer software. It's ATS. It's either got a name tag even, it's ATS. They're going to review or scan your resume first, and they're going to make decisions on your resume. And they're basically going to make one decision, whether your resume goes forward or doesn't, and they might even rank it too as well. So this is where we talk about, and we talked a little bit throughout the course about having your resume or CV optimized for computer scanning, and that because if you can't get through the computer scanning, you're not going to get to where a human being will look at your resume, who is then going to scan it themselves as a human being, and then maybe screen you out or move you on to the next phase, which is what we really want to get to, which is a job interview. So let's talk a little bit about computer scanning, right? So first off, there's ATS, or ATS is actually a thing. It's called an applicant tracking system, or ATS. The type of software, just like you have LMS, learning management system. This is an applicant tracking system. And so companies use ATSs, and they use them all the time. And companies can post their post their jobs and their job descriptions on job boards, for example. And those job boards, in effect, act as applicant tracking systems, or they can have their own applicant tracking system too, particularly for large organizations. And why do they do that? Why do they use an ATS? Well, two big reasons. One is productivity. It really helps narrow the field of candidates, particularly if you're getting thousands and thousands of resumes, even 100 resumes. That's a lot to really review. And you're looking for keywords in that initial screening anyways. Why not have a machine do it? Why don't you take that 1,000 resumes and get it down to 100 or maybe 50, and then have a human being screen through those 50 after the ATS has already screened out the less than ideal candidates. The problem is for us as applicants and candidates is if we don't design somewhat for that applicant tracking system, we could be a great candidate, but we get screened out by a machine before a human being can even make a decision for us. So that's one reason companies use is productivity. Another reason is it's non-discriminatory, right? There's not that hidden bias, or we talked about earlier about where we talked about pictures and how there can be bias with pictures. Machines don't care about such things. Machines are looking at text. They're looking to match up text and keywords that the company is providing, and it's in a non-discriminatory manner, right? If they're looking for Microsoft Excel experience and the applicant tracking system is designed to screen candidates who have to show that on their application, then there's no bias there. It's just looking for Excel, and then if you have it on your keywords, on your resume or on your application, you go into maybe the go forward pile, and if not, you're screened out just because maybe you listed Office 365 and the machine doesn't know that Office 365 includes Microsoft Excel in it. All right, there. That's my little anger thing about machines. So businesses of all sizes use them. 98% of the Fortune 500 companies are using an applicant tracking system. I'm almost wondering who is the 2% who's not. Considering the productivity and the non-discrimination thing for a Fortune 500 company or a large company. But small companies are using them too. And certainly there's some things that are provided by some of these job boards like Monster, CareerBuilder, or others, where you can post jobs and they can assist with your screening process as well. Again, for a fee for the employer. If you're curious about, I want to learn a little bit more about applicant tracking systems and look behind the curtain in a little bit more detail, there's several of them out there. A big one is Recruit BPM. There's the link there. And you can go there and you can see how Recruit BPM sells themselves to employers on their applicant tracking system software and system, and why the advantages of that is and how it works. And I think they got pricing on there too. So you can get a feel for, kind of that. It's nothing you need to know from a job candidate standpoint. It's more of a curiosity. The main thing that you want to know, and as we've talked about throughout the course, is that your application, your resume, your CV, and all that needs to be designed for the human eye as well as for the eye of Mr. Robot, Mr. AT, or Miss ATS as well. So it's a very important consideration, because if it isn't, then you're going to get screened out, and that's unfortunate and a problem, and it's bad for companies because they miss out on great candidates, and it's certainly not great for us who are applying to jobs, because we want to talk to a human being and really talk about how we can add value, not get screened out by some machine.